Thanks for watching. And of course, subscribe.
And welcome everybody to Haunting Live podcast. Thank you so much for joining us here this week. We have reached episode number 7 of season 2 already. Things are flying by this year, and we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in each and every week here on Haunting Live podcast and bringing our guests to you that we interview. And tonight we do have a special guest as well. He's all the way from the UK, Garry Fields, paranormal investigator, and we're going to be bringing him on in just a moment here. But first of all, we just want to thank everybody so much for following us over on social media, on our Facebook, on our YouTube channel, also on our podcast apps where you can listen to our podcast later. We're on all the apps like Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Google, and all the other ones as well. So thank you so much for following us there and all your support. But tonight we do have a special guest. He is from all the way over in the UK, Garry Fields, and we're going to talk to him a bit about what he does. Main thing he's into is transconfiguration and transmediumship, so we're going to talk about that, but a bunch of other things as well here tonight and get some stories out of him maybe here today as well. So with that, let's bring in Garry.
Yeah.
Hi Garry, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me along this evening.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you from over there in the UK, across the pond, as they say. So thank you very much for being the guest and agreeing to be on Haunting Live podcast with us. It's an honor to have you on here to talk about what you do and your experiences in the paranormal.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, let's start at the beginning with your career in the paranormal field. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the paranormal field and what sort of drew you into it.
Yeah, basically, I came across me Reiki masters about 10 years ago. So I'd had a lot of experience over the years. And they just tied a lot of the energies that were going on in and around me and explained a lot of things spiritually and give me experiences that I never thought I'd see or come across with bringing spirit into the room and showing me spirit, and obviously doing a lot of things with the scry mirror and showing me different techniques and putting all the energies into the right way of the right understanding that was what was going on in and around me since I was a junior. So I'd say they changed my life and put me on the path to where I am now, opening up more spiritually as well.
Right, and you met your Reiki masters, and they helped you along your journey. So what drew you into the past? Did you have any experiences before when you were younger that kind of piqued your interest at all?
Yeah, I whenever I explained things to them, they said that I'd seen too much, too quick, too soon in and around spirit, certain things I shouldn't have been shown. Different dimensions of my first experience was seeing me in a grave, looking back up at myself in and around a past life, but I could see a vision of me just looking back at myself from a grave, looking back up at me as I walked over to pick a football up when I was about 5 years old. And that was a jaw-dropping moment. Time stood still. What went on there? Did that really happen? And I'd say it froze for about a good minute or two. Really, time did freeze then, and the understanding with that moving forward with deja vu and a lot of things come around a 7-year cycle as well. So a lot of the time I learned over the 7-year period, each 7-year bracket in my life, as different things seem to go on. Picking up on disasters and picking up on things prior to them happening as well. So again, don't be afraid of anything spiritually. So if I was a youngster and watching something that was like a scary movie, it was like, no, I was hearing voices. Don't put your head under the sheets and come on, you can cope and deal with this. So learning different things as you're moving forward, which was very, how can I say, it's an experience all the way along the path.
Right, and from those experiences that you had, were they sort of instrumental in pushing you forward to meeting your Reiki masters? Do you think that was kind of a link to eventually meeting that and getting to where you are now?
Yeah, we were actually, I was with another medium and we was going to do a clearing of this building, spiritual clearing and cleansing. And they'd invited my Reiki masters, and that's how we connected. And my Reiki master, Jan, she said, "Oh, I've been waiting 35 years to meet you," which was quite mind-blowing. And then when we explained that we'd had a link in a past life and links to like Stirling Castle, and her guide is part of my team now because she's took a step back over the last 5 or 10 years to pass her knowledge on to me. So I feel I'm carrying on forward with her work and her partner's work as well, in and around the spiritual side of it. So I've got links with Stirling Castle, and her guide's got links with that. I did visit Stirling Castle a couple of years back, and as I was driving pretty close to it, about a mile or two away, I spiritually heard, "Welcome home, sire." And I was like, wow, that just blew my mind away. And I was like, to my friend in the car, who was another paranormal investigator in Scotland, I said, "Did you hear that?" And he went, "No." And I was like, oh my word. It was as clear as day. It was just like having the radio on, the voice, "Welcome home, sire." And I was like, OMG, unbelievable.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a wow moment for you, just where it really spoke to you and connected to you that your guides are there on the path that you're supposed to be on, right? So,
yeah, I've always felt as well, I was always nudged in the right direction with being in the right place at the right time as I was growing up as well. So, you know, as I've experienced things and seeing things in deja vu, and seeing cine clips back as like Knights Templar, and seeing things back in a past life as well, are they just dreams, or and then things were really coming a lot of clarity when he was doing a meditation and stuff like that as well. So I was getting a lot of clarity and things tying in as well. So I'd say there's still centuries and chapters that I haven't had filled in yet, because we don't stop learning moving forward. So I've had quite a lot from like around Mary Magdalene and around Christ and that, but moving forwards I've had Knights Templars, and seems to be parts of chapters of the centuries that are filled in. So I do feel there's certain areas that I've got to pick up on as well moving forwards, like sort of your druids and all that as well. I've had quite a lot of experiences with druids and witchcraft and everything around circles and the traits and the trends that's been learnt over the years, like going to Pendle Hill. That tied in with certain things as well. So that was amazing. And that was like 5, 6, 7 years apart, where I was getting different answers to the finalisation of the questions they had from first visits from Pendle Hill. So it's really amazing how things have tied in spiritually for me.
yeah, they all have different meanings when you connect with spirit in different ways and different messages that come through. So you've been to different areas, different castles, different locations, like Pendle Hill. I know of that one actually from different shows and stuff. So, where you felt drawn to those areas beforehand? Like, was there any messages come through prior to getting to those locations?
Yeah, I felt there was two more. When I arrived in Pendle Hill, we went to a local pub, which was over the road from the church outside the village. And as soon as I got there, I said, "Oh, there's 2 white witches here waiting for us just to greet us, because they're on the side of the way that we work." Do you know what I mean? So a whiter witch. And just basically, I said, they're just outside the window, and some of the stuff you could hear. And as soon as we walked out the pub after we'd had a meal and that, and just walking down towards the river to go round the back of the valley, it was just amazing. Just the things were tying in. You could feel the energy through the village totally change. You could feel it changing as you were just walking down different pockets of energies, and different, like going towards the water, things were getting stronger and connecting, and even walking around the churchyard, and it was just even inside the church there in Pendle Hill as well. It was just around the local village. It was just loads of things tied in. And when I returned about 5 or 6 years later, we had an SP11 box on, and the little girl was calling for us, and she was one that virtually called out her family members as all witches, and she was the one that was on trial. So on the white noise box, we actually got "I am so sorry," and she wanted like remorse, and I've got that on a live on Garry Fields Raw Paranormal on YouTube. I've actually got that walkabout, and you can actually hear the little girl coming through on that as well. And it was just, she wanted to say sorry for things that had gone on in the past. It was just amazing. But I got called there to just say sorry to all the way the people had been treated over the years and over the centuries. I just went up there to apologise the way that people had treated these known witches, or supposedly known witches, and the way people were treated back in the days of their time. So I drove a couple of hours just to apologise spiritually to them, but to connect and be around them as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful that you were able to connect on different levels like that, and actually experiencing maybe like a moment in time where you're being drawn back into their time is what it sounds like happened. Is that more along the lines of what you do, which is transconfiguration? Is that how you kind of get back into that or connect that way?
Yeah, just touching back on with the development side of it. I do development classes now moving forwards, but when I was in and around Danny and Jan, met the Reiki masters, and they virtually brought like Joan of Arc in quite close in and around me, behind me, just scrying in the mirror, and there was a full apparition behind me, and I was like, wow, is this what you do spiritually? And it was like, yeah, this is how you're going to develop and work into. And then I started with the scrying, I started like losing my head on the top of my shoulders, and then other spirit energies were coming through. And then that's how the development of the transfiguration works. So I worked out then to let spirit connect with me into my aura, not full deep trance, but like a semi mixing and blending with the aura. So I'd let a spirit 50, 60, 70% into my aura to explain the mannerisms, their emotions, what they were about, what times they were through, and then obviously show them through my features and my face, and then change my face and my features. And sometimes you can get it just from the face upwards, sometimes it could be the shoulders down, depending on the atmosphere, the energy, the location, the room as well. So again, it's all about being there at the right place at the right time as well. With, if you've got more like-minded people, the energy's stronger as well. So again, it's just working with that and showing anybody's friends, family, and loved ones. If they come for a reading, I can do that and bring the loved ones through as well towards the end of the reading as well.
Right, and for somebody that maybe doesn't understand it fully, never heard of the term transconfiguration or transmedia before, can you sort of explain what it feels like when you go into a trance? Like, is it something taking over you, or is it scary, or how does that feel?
Yeah, now, the easiest way I would explain it is it's just having the blend of the pocket of energy that's around to mix. As me as a medium, I will share the experience that I'm receiving. So if I've got a member of the public on an event or something like that, or I'm doing a reading, or they want to hear somebody actually talking and using somebody's voice box, I can blend the energy with somebody in an audience, or I can blend a person on an event and put them into semi-trance and get the spirit to talk through them, and use that person's voice box as the battery pack. So the person in and around that's working and blending with trance, they are the battery pack for that spirit energy to come through and work and connect with me. And I can show them people as well through them, if it's in a jail or if it's in a castle or whatever. And again, the atmosphere, again, it's all about connecting and being with the right-minded people, you know what I mean? So somebody that's up for it and up really to give it a go, that connect with spirits and open to spirits, there's a much stronger blend with that as well. So it's like, I always say seeing is believing. So where people have evidence of photographs and this, that, and the other, I'm actually showing spirits. I'm showing spirits that I'm connecting with, which I don't really think a lot of people have really hit the spot what I'm actually doing. I'm actually going, I've got a gentleman in this room, I'll actually blend, let him enter in and around my aura, enter into my body as a battery pack, and show that spirit energy from that time period, the 1600s, the 1200s, or whatever. And again, I do have a big link with King Arthur as well. He seems to follow me in and around where I go as well.
That's pretty amazing that you can connect directly with certain people as well. Is that more difficult to connect to a certain spirit, or do you more allow just any spirit to kind of flow in?
Well, obviously, I work with my guide and my team. So, I have brought demonic energies through. I have changed my features into low-level energies. But the way I've been trained and worked is there is 7 levels of light. So when we're born, we're in the middle. When we're brought onto this plane, if you've got an energy or an entity of shift shaper or something like that, I can still show and blend and capture that energy and bring it towards me. It's not about me demanding. We've had certain energies that's been playing tricks on the night and been playing games and really overpowering other people around it. It's like, right, I need a word with you. You need to come and work with me. And then I will bring that energy forward. So I can call energies forward as well, be it, low level, white light, anything in and around. And I can also work with it where I can bring people, famous people back through and stuff like that. But I tend to do that more on a one-to-one in and around development classes, because it's not about just working and demanding that type of side of it. It's more being professional and more being respectful as well. So if the energies that want to work with you on an investigation, they're up for it. So sometimes working with the energy that's there on an investigation, that's brilliant. That's what I ask for, because that's what the night's bringing. And then sometimes if there's personal, respectful ways of bringing somebody through, I just think that's more helps better in a private setting. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about the right time, the right place for certain things as well on investigations or doing readings or bringing spirits through and showing them through my features.
Right. Just wondering if when you do that, do people get scared when they do that, when you do it for a client, or do you kind of have a method of doing that when you're doing it with somebody?
Yeah, well, I'll certainly try and explain the situation and the process like I have done to your listeners as well. It's like, again, it's always like-minded people. So again, if I will explain the process prior to that, as I say, if you see my features change, don't be surprised. It's just spirits showing them through me. And then if people want to talk and experience that, I will pass that on. I will always ask them first. I wouldn't just go, oh, spirit, please enter Joe Bloggs over there. I'd ask if anybody's up for it on the night. When we're doing the intro of the evening, I say to people, if you do see my features changing, don't be surprised, because I've been working with spirit a long time, and this is what I do. I'm not a freak of nature. I'm not just a performing monkey type of thing. I am working with spirit, and I'll always explain that in a nice level-headed way, where it's not about me. The spirits that want to come forward, the more they give me, the more I can give people in and around me as well, which I always think that's the best way to work, because respect is massive out there in the spiritual world and how they connect with you.
Yeah, it's definitely 100% about respect. Like, you treat spirits like you treat a normal person. So, like, you wouldn't want to intrude into somebody's home and start being rude or whatever to them. So why would you do that when you're on investigation to a spirit either? So have you had anything, major incidents happen when you've been doing transconfiguration? Like, has it been a moment that's been really weird to you, or?
I've had it where I've been on the live feed, and we've gone to a town in Liverpool, and it's been known that the council wouldn't sell this land off. I think it was called Bloodacre Woods, and it was next to a churchyard. So a lot of things have gone on there over the years, and where the churchyard was very positive, but over the wall that separated the boundaries, the Bloodacre field and woods was renowned for a very low energy entity of things that's gone on in the past. So when I was walking around the churchyard, and basically I went into the woods over the a picket wall type of thing, a stepping wall. I went into there and I shown the people the energy there. I called the negative energy that was there from that lurked in that area and worked in that area as well. It would have driven fear into a lot of people as well. So if you can imagine going down a dark lane and you feel, there's an energy trying to make me scared, that was that type of energy that was feeded off fear. It drove off fear. So I was like, no, you're not doing that to my friends and my team and the cameraman and stuff like that. So what I actually had to do was just, I'll show you this energy, and then I just done that on the live, and I transfigured it through, but I held it back at the same time, so it wasn't a full blend. But you can get certain areas back to what's gone on the land, of the days of the story of the land, why it became that way, why it was so suppressive, why it was so dark in its times. And a lot of these places where back in the day, the 1600s and all that, a lot of people would have had to pay taxes and that to go down roads and pass through into one county to another. So there was a lot of taxes and debts and things collected, just as it is in today. But today's process is via banks and your wages. So back on the land, you've got to get to the story of what's gone on in the period, what's gone on in the time, why that person was like that. And that's what you do. We just get to the bottom of the story. And that's what I like to work with the compromising blend. So if you've got a positive or a negative, tell me about why you are in that nature or from the time you've lived on this plane.
And has there been any cases that you've done recently? I know you were talking about one a while ago to me about a recent case that you worked on. Do you want to talk about that one for a little bit?
Well, it's virtually ongoing all the time, basically. Like, I've done a little catch-up feed on Facebook the other day. I haven't seen a lot of people for a while on my main page, and basically I've just been doing a house clearance for a person that's a lot of things going on, but in family members, 4 or 5 houses. So I'm actually working on 4 or 5 houses all at the same time, but the energy that I'm working on at the moment is the main person that contacted me. I'm trying to get the balance there. And what I'm feeling is a bit of disruption in and around. There's a white lady being seen, and she's actually trying to keep the balance with spirit's energy around family members that are away from that house. So it's like a spider's web. It just, when there's problems and situations going on and certain people are opening that house are getting the connection, she's seen a white lady all the time. Now, I've inboxed her today and said, this white lady is trying to put a balance on what's going on in your family members' houses. They're not happy spiritually. So if there's a lot of stuff going on, it's just about keeping the balance as well. So if there's been a lot of arguments, or there's a divorce going on, or there's any problems going on in and around children, and spirits aren't happy at what they're seeing as family members, they're trying to contact somebody that's open to receive, and then that's the way of contacting the medium then. So it's like a little loop. So that's what I've been working on today, basically, is just trying to give some understanding and putting some balance and calmness in and around all her friends and family members that there's issues and problems, is building the situation. But every time she visits somewhere, she's bringing that weight back, and she's bringing that into a whiter lighthouse. She's bringing that weighted energy back in. So it's, again, that feels uncomfortable for her because there's other energies going. We need to contact a medium, basically, or we need to contact with somebody in the spider's web of the link and the connection. And that's how spirits work sometimes. So they've got their own little crafty, cunning way of going, there is problems going on, Garry, but the person that's living in it can't actually see what's going on. So it just puts the chains and the links and the connections together to working out where I can help them and say, can you have a look at this? Have you got any family members that situation's going on? Because this is where this energy is being drove to, that you're connecting with, that's coming back to your house. And this is why it doesn't feel comfortable at the moment in your place, because it can be from anywhere. You know, it's just amazing, the intelligence of spirits and how they work.
It is. They do work in mysterious ways, but they have their own way of making their point, for sure. That's part of your psychic reading abilities, too, that you have. You said before to me as well that you can remote psychic work. You can do remote work from anywhere. So how did you develop that, and how did you sort of start working remotely?
Yeah, obviously I've met people over the years. So, I work very closely with Keep On Chatting Paranormal, Keep On Chatting platform on Facebook and all that. And we do investigations. So I meet like demonologists, and then I work very closely with a white witch. And she does a lot of the automatic traveling and stuff like that, but we connect together. So if she says, I'll go off traveling at 2:00 in the morning, I'll bring you with me, Garry, spiritually. We'll connect and we'll link, and we'll go, obviously, in the power of 3. Her partner actually sees dark, negative energy. He sees weighted energy. So he knows instantly, as soon as we start talking about it, if it's a weighted energy, he knows it's a weighted energy that we've got to deal with. I will have me warnings up, and my team will give me information prior to that, but we work as a team. So sometimes if there's a lot going on in another house clearance, if a little girl can't sleep and she's seeing low level energies and stuff like that, or other energies that's going on, we all go together. So I work with a demonologist. We can encapsulate a spirit. We can actually, as a demonologist, she's a medium as well. We can encapsulate it. We can take it to another area and release that into another area where it doesn't need to be. So we'll release that energy around energies of where it will feel comfortable as well. So sometimes, again, it's sometimes where it's disruptive too much. You've got to say, well, would you like to be around more of your type of energy as well? Because we'll do that. We'll take it to a low level energy place, or we'll take it to the white light, or we'll cross over, we'll balance. So again, it's like each individual spirit and energy has got a different understanding of why they're there and what they're there for.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's go into a different area now. I'd like to see about some of your other travels that you've done around the UK. How far have you been to the UK? Like, what have been some of the different places that you've been able to get to?
Yeah, as I said, I've mentioned Stirling Castle, been to Edinburgh. I've been to Dean Castle, is always my favourite, up by Kilmarnock. And some of the stuff they had there was, they've got Mary Queen of Scots memorabilia type of thing, but very private collection of stuff. And I was seeing all that prior to go there. I've been to, obviously, the ancient Ram Inn. I've done Margam Castle. I've done Warwick Castle. I've done all the castles in North Wales, basically in and around. I get a lot of things just walking round as well, very close to Chester. I've obviously done East Drive about 10 times. There's Newsham Park Hospital in Liverpool. I've done that about 15 times, and all the time we get different things and different energies and different nights. So no two nights are the same way, but you can have the link and the connection of things we've picked up on in the past. So I just love going everywhere. Prisons, Shepton Mallet, Shrewsbury Prison. I virtually go north, south, east, west, and that. But obviously, we share the driving and the team. We all look after each other as well, you know. So it's it's a lot. I pay for all that out of my own pocket, basically, with the fuel and all that as well with the team.
Yeah, that's great to share all that too with your team. You just mentioned a couple places there that are of interest to me. The first one you mentioned there was Ancient Ram. Of course, that one's a fairly famous location. And the other one was East Drive. And I know some of the history about that one as well. Can you talk a little bit about those two both and just tell us about your experiences there?
Yeah, I'll touch on East Drive first. I've done that about 10 times now. I've done a 48-hour lockdown in East Drive. I think there was 10 is the maximum you can have in the location. And by the second night, everybody else had drifted off and gone home on the second night. About 2-3 o'clock in the morning, it was getting really suppressive. And I just thought, no, you stay at the top end of the building. All our team will stay down the bottom towards the end of the 48 hours, because a lot was getting drained and a lot of things were getting really tired, and it wasn't niggles between the team. It was just, you could feel it was splitting and dividing them. So I ended up there about 4 o'clock on my own, and I just said, no, you're not doing this, and we've had experiences where we've been prior to that. So it will play mind games with you as well. It will play mind games as well. The energy's there. When we went prior to that, 3 cars that we took, every car had a puncture. One had a blowout on the motorway going. I had a puncture on the day prior, on the day going as well. So I had that fixed before I set off. And then overnight, the third car woke up. When we woke up in the morning, had flat tired as well. So again, it plays mind games. Sometimes it doesn't want you going there, and it'll do everything to keep it at bay and keep it away as well. The ancient Ram Inn, I've had some amazing interactions there, and there's actually a crow that follows me around. It's a hanging stuffed crow, but when you walk past it, it's not the wind off you or nothing or a draft. Its face virtually twists and follows you. And I've brought a lot of interaction there with John. I've brought John through done automatic writing with a team member. We've had 7 or 8 pages worth of paperwork off John and all that. And I've had a few people that's come through prior into the days of the 60s, the 70s, and the characters that's been passed through the building as well and visited there. And there's been conflicts up in the attic and the witch's room. I've had a gentleman, about 7 foot, team member, and he said, "Oh, it's not doing anything. It's very quiet in here tonight." He said, "If you're going to do anything, do anything." And this energy just passed right through him. This spirit just went right through him. And his wife's a working witch, and he just went as great. He walked out the room in the ancient ramen. He had to get fresh air. Now, this lad has had A grades, EVPs. He's been everywhere. He's a top technician. People have asked him to work on the telly and all that, but because he's got a trade, he's happy with his trade. And he went home after half an hour after that experience. He said, "I can't cope. I can't handle it anymore." And he asked for a belt. He asked for something to go on. And he certainly got this wallop of energy that he couldn't explain. He couldn't control himself. He was just had to get out for fresh air. I said, "Well, basically, you've just been zapped. You asked for something. You've just got this energy that's just gone right through you. You've experienced what you just asked for. So be careful sometimes what you ask for."
Yeah, that's always the rule, especially when you're doing paranormal investigations, is be careful what you ask for. And I guess more so when you're in places like Ancient Ram, you never know what you're going to get. Have you gotten a lot of evidence out of there? Like, have you gotten any photographs or EVPs that are different? Or
I would have done over the years, yeah. I would have had pictures from there, and obviously I've got live, videos from when I've done the YouTube settings and that. So I'll always try and upload that later on from my Facebook to the YouTube. But we've had some amazing drawings. I've got people that do the psychic artist drawings, and people I'm describing, they've actually been seen outside the building, and then I've called them in, like the gatekeepers there and stuff like that. So there's been a lady that we drew there as well, and we've had trinkets of jewellery found, and I've given them to the members. The pictures I've given them to the owners of the ancient ramen as well. So if anybody comes around them pictures we've done, the psychic artists in drawings and the pictures as well. So they're nice to keep for the people that actually own the property as well. So we've passed that information on to the people that own the property as well. And I just love all type of things like that. But I've had amazing evidence. I've had amazing pictures taken where again, seeing is believing. So I've done the transfiguration work. I've explained that, and I've put people in trance in there, and it's just such an amazing location. I think the last time I was there was around the summer solstice, so it was last summer the last time I was there. And then obviously, because of current situations, we haven't been back there yet, but we are due back there soon.
yeah, same here on our end. We haven't been able to get out to any locations due to the pandemic here too. So we're hoping that we'll be able to get back out shortly in 2021 to some of our hot spots in the area here too. So, but that is one thing I do like about the way you do things. That's one thing that actually drew me to contacting you for the show here, was that you do post a lot of your evidence out there for people to see. A lot of it is on Twitter and your social media. So I think that's wonderful that you actually post stuff up for people.
And I'll always interact with other people's groups. I've got other pages on Facebook, like All Things Paranormal, and I share everybody else's work, everybody else's events, because, you know, sometimes some people might not be able to get up to certain parts of the locations in the UK where I'm based. So obviously I always share everybody else's work, and, you know, I'm a big believer in supporting everybody out there in the field as well. Yeah,
no, that's wonderful to help out. Everybody gets feedback from everybody else. You make new connections, and that's how things go. So, so what have you been doing during the pandemic then, just before we let you go here today, Gary? Have you been into any new projects besides doing your clients and stuff that you have?
Yeah, I've been working with the lovely Jolene Jackson Lockwood and Karen Frey, team from Keep On Chatting platform. So we've been building that platform network up. And that's on YouTube and Facebook, and we've been doing raising money for Calm charity over January period, because that's like a very suppressive weekend. That's, you know, the middle of January, a lot of people you know, are really struggling. So we set up a Calm charity, and we've done a 48 hour weekend where we had interviewed everybody within the paranormal field. And I've done some interviews with some famous TV show guests over there in America as well as the UK. So again, it's interacting with other mediums as well. So we're building that platform and raising money back for certain charities as well, which was calm. So we raised approximately, I think, £1,600 at the top of my head, last figure. And again, just all that type of platform. So we're building it, connecting it, and interviewing and talking about people's experience, just like your podcast as well. So it's just catching up and connecting, and just it's been non-stop really with the interviews. And I think I've got a lady from Canada to interview tomorrow as well. So we're reaching out and people are connecting and we're all sharing each other's work basically.
No, that's wonderful that you're doing that, helping people out, making new connections. That's what it's all about. That's what our show here as well is about, is making connections and promoting people during this time that you can't get out and do what you normally do. So why not help out, right? So I just want to thank you, though, Garry, so much for coming on Haunting Live. And if you have anything that you wish to promote, we'll gladly help out with that as well.
Yeah, sure.
Posting on our side, so...
Yeah, appreciate that. Again, I do a live hour feed on a Monday night on Keep On Chatting platform network. I think it's 8 o'clock tomorrow night UK time, and I do an open mic hour on a Thursday UK time at 9 o'clock. So the last couple of topics we've sorted out, bullying within the paranormal world, where teams don't get on with teams, and just trying to give people an eye opener into looking after each other, because we're all in it together. So on the open hour mic hour, it's about people talking about their topics and subject, or what they've seen in the paranormal field, or who's captured this, who's captured that. So do an open mic hour as well, where I try to be open down the middle, not for or against anybody else's issues or disbeliefs. I'm there just to bring people in and just go, this is a nice open mic hour, and let's talk about ticking the right boxes moving forwards for everybody of what we all love the industry for in the paranormal world.
Yeah, no, for sure. The phrase that we used to say here on our side is everybody does things their own way. So, like, you may not agree with somebody's way of doing things, but that's their way. Yeah. So that's why I kind of created the Haunting Live podcast show here, is because during the downtime, we had nothing else to do. So it's better to connect and reach out and help people out that way. So... but thank you, Garry, so much for coming on. Send me any links that you got. We'll gladly post them up to our Facebook and stuff like that. So we'll post those up for you as well. So, but thank you for taking time out and being our guest here on Haunting Live this week.
Oh, pleasure. And thanks for having me along. And look forward to catching up with you soon. And might have you on my show, and we'll have an hour chat on this end of the pond.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if we could switch over to your show as well. Help you out too.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And stay safe out there, folks. And just let's get back out there when we can and keep doing what we're doing and enjoy what we do.
Yeah, and stay safe doing it. So hope you guys stay safe over there. Hope your lockdown ends soon. I know you guys are still in lockdown over there. So ours is ending shortly, I think. This week we're back into a different level. So that's great.
And you too. Stay safe.
You too. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Garry Fields from over in the UK, across the pond, joining us today here for episode 7 of season 2. Just want to thank him so much again for coming on to Haunting Live Podcast. He's a paranormal investigator. He's been to many haunted locations in the UK. Has some great insights on different things that he does, such as transconfiguration, transmediumship, something we haven't really had a topic on here yet on Haunting Live, so I wanted to get in discussion about that a little bit and some of his other adventures he's been into over there in the UK. Definitely different places than what we're used to here in Canada, so that's great to hear his stories. And thank him again for being here on Haunting Live Podcast. But just to wrap up this episode for episode 7 of season 2, thank you guys again so much for tuning in each and every week. We greatly appreciate your following us on social media, over on Facebook, also over on our Twitter. We're also on Instagram. We're also on YouTube, so check out our YouTube channel. Not only are our current episodes being posted over on YouTube, but we do have a lot of great older content as well that's posted up on YouTube that you guys can check out, old investigations and different videos that we put together in the past. So definitely worth checking that out. Also, before we go, don't forget to go over to our website. Our official website here at Haunting Live is HauntingLivePodcast.com, where we have a merch section where you can buy different items from us that we use in the field every time, such as crystals, pendulums, smudging material, and some promotional items as well. Also on our website is our tickets for public events. You can go check out the next upcoming public event, which is going to be held at the Queen's Inn in Stratford, Ontario, this coming Halloween. Tickets are already available for that event. It is a public event, so depending on what's going on with the COVID rules by that time, we'll definitely be abiding by any rules that are put in place for any public gatherings. But you can check out the tickets there. They are $140 for the event for Ghost of the Queens, Halloween weekend 2021. So with that, guys, thank you very much for tuning in this weekend. We had a couple of great shows, so looking forward to getting those posted for you guys so you can check them out. And again, thank you so much for following us here at Haunting Live Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Did you hear that? Thanks for watching. And of course, subscribe.